Benchmarking is a really interesting exercise. It's where somebody gathers a group of organisations together that have something in common and evaluates their reporting practice against some sort of standard criteria. And you get a best to worst list out of that.
There is now an increasing number of benchmarks out there, and we know that they have an effect.
What it does is it sort of creates an ordering as opposed to a direct measure of how people have done. So it's that ordering that then makes people look at those above them in their list and think, oh, perhaps I could do better, and for those to look at those below them in the list and feel superior.
We should really start by defining what a benchmark is, because there's many different ideas that people might have, but we're really looking at how companies are being evaluated by third parties. There's lots of different benchmarks out there. So we might think about, for example, credit ratings, or more recently ESG ratings, but we're looking at how companies are evaluated on different aspects of their social, environmental performance or disclosure.
There are two really interesting findings from the study on benchmarking. So if we start from inside the benchmark, what we uncovered inside that black box, which people rarely get to see, is just how messy it is. So the benchmark developer changed the weights, changed some of the items, which you'd expect because it was a practice-based piece of work where they're wanting to change what they're looking at year on year. The second thing, which is the external facing work, is really exciting because what we managed to uncover is that people who were benchmarked changed what they did. They increased the amount of reporting they made, their reporting became more like the benchmark than it was before, but really interestingly, only some of them. So those who were interested in knowing what their peers did, those who already were quite transparent, got much better. If you didn't care, you didn't get better.
In this project on benchmarks and sustainability, we look at the inner workings of benchmarks to understand a little bit more as to how they work and what are some of the effects that they have. Not only does research show that they have an effect in terms of the audience, they actually impact how different stakeholders make decisions. So you can think about investors, you can think about consumers, but also at the same time, companies react to them. So they have an effect on companies that are being benchmarked. And so it becomes increasingly important for us to understand how they work and what they do.
This work has impact in two distinctive areas. In the first one, it helps us understand why reporting might lead to behaviour change within firms. Because we assume that is the case, and there's lots of demands on companies to provide information about what they're doing. But if in providing that information nothing happens, then it's a bit of a pointless exercise. So what we are able to ascertain from this work is something about those internal changes alongside the reporting changes. The second thing, which was an unexpected finding for us, is that the whole benchmarking exercise ended up being an exercise in companies learning how to be responsible, how to articulate what they're doing, and how to provide information. Sometimes reporting isn't about external audiences, it's about companies learning how to be better at what they do as well.
When we think about what type of impact this work might have, it's important to know that this is a historical benchmark that no longer exists. But at the same time, we're trying to see what types of lessons do existing benchmarks and future benchmarks want to take forward if they want to be successful in changing corporate behavior and making companies more sustainable.